solemnly swear to take this thing to the next level.
Hey! Hello. Hey, everybody. Is this me? All right, homies. This good business right here. All right, so thank you all for being so attentive and receptive on a Saturday. My eyesight is not bad. Something's wrong with this computer text. That's all. Oh man, where'd it go? Hang on. There we go. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to share something that I don't usually do this. I want to share something I shared at War Room in our last meeting, which was about 2 weeks ago. That's a 25K mastermind that I facilitate with Ryan Dice and Perry Belcher and Roland Frazier and the lovely and talented Richard Lindner, who is really the brains behind that whole digital marketer operation, in my opinion. Lovely fella. Professional title called Stuff That's Working Real Good. And this, what we're going to do really for a large chunk of the day is I'm going to give you an overview of the results of what I call behavioral dynamic response. Then I will show you the campaigns that sort of make all of that stuff up together. And then we're going to go through some exercise to exponentially expand your market reach. So this is very, very cool. We'll get tiny bit technical, but not like coding style technical, just boxes and arrows. But the single biggest thing, and this is why this is very critical, that has helped my business personally and my income is the deployment of behavioral dynamic response. And what that means is being aware of every point in a funnel where your prospect can fall out, AKA not click, not watch the video, not buy, and then building a contingency plan for that action. So the reason I get such really big returns on my ad spend isn't because I have like great copy or whatever. It's because my funnel doesn't look like opt-in, sales message, blah, blah, blah. It's like this gigantic web of coolness. So I'm going to take you behind the scenes of one that's working really, really well right now, and then show you kind of all of them and how they interact. So this is good stuff. All right, so the first thing I want to tell you is that this, what am I doing here? What's causing this noise? Should I just not move? It's hard to, I mean, what's causing this to, it's not, I'm weirded out by it in general, actually. So, okay, so this is I'm going to walk you through an automated launch. So a lot of you guys saw Info Business Blueprint. I started that campaign as a live webinar to test the waters, and it went well. Then I did a traditional product launch to my in-house list. I did have Andy Jenkins wanted to be an affiliate. I was like, dude, I don't know if it's going to work. He's like, I don't care. I said, okay, you know. So he promoted it a little bit, but the vast majority of the sales came from my own in-house list, as in like 95% or something. And then the next stage was to automate that entire system. So what I'm going to share with you now is the results of an automated launch campaign and some of the discoveries that I've made in this particular round, okay? So the thing that I learned, number one, is if you accelerate a prospect's movement through the funnel and ensure that they consume your content, meaning the pieces of goodwill that you present to them prior to asking for the sale, then you're probably going to make more money. So here's how I done did it. So these are the results from March 16th through April 3rd. That was the first chunk of ads that I ran for this. And this has now given these leads a pretty good bit of time to do stuff. So I spent $22,184.95 on the Facebooks. Okay. For that, I got 4,369 opt-ins, which is awesome. That's a very good price per opt-in. All Ralph and Keith's work, by the way. I was just like, here's a video, make magic. Go forth and prosper. And they did, which was awesome. So it brought in $44,045 in sales. So what's cool about this is my net profit after ads was $21,860, which is great, which means I just about got double my money. So the first case studies I was giving you yesterday was 180% return over a 30-day period. This is almost 200% over like a whatever 15-day period or whatever the math is, 18-day period, which is awesome. That's very, very good. I like that. So I got to put $1 in today. 18 days later, I got $2. Take that, Warren Buffett, even though you're richer than me and smarter. Not better looking, though. I think I could take him in a fight, probably, you know. You always want to stack the odds in your favor, you know. I mean, all right, so here's how a product launch looks on the surface, right? So traditionally, a product launch is you take some traffic, in this case from Facebook, and then you send them to one of them opt-in pages. It says, hey, opt in to get your video to learn cool stuff. Okay. Then they get video 1, then they get video 2, then they get video 3, and then you send them to one of them sales letters, right? Now, in our case, it was a video sales letter. People always say, should I use video sales letter or written sales letter? Whichever one you can write the fastest and get up on the interwebs is the one that you should use. I use videos because it's easier for me. That's all. I have no data to say one works better than the other. Okay, so here's how this campaign really is. So on the surface, it looks very, very basic. It ain't very basic, all right? So the first thing I'm doing is I'm tracking immediate action post opt-in, all right? So what I've learned over probably now the past 2 years of really being heavy into tracking user behavior within funnels is that the majority of people will not consume the stuff they opted in for, which is weird. Makes you wonder what happens when they buy stuff. And you know how I know that not a lot of people watch what they buy? Is because a lot of what Keith and Ralph just showed you was in Module 5 of Info Business Blueprint, and I saw y'all asking questions that were answered right in that course, right? And this has been the case forever, and hey, you're not alone. I do the same thing, you know. I mean, I have a library of business books that I've read like a quarter of, you know, so I ain't different. But if you assume that they're consuming the content, you're wrong. So the logic being, if we know that their consumption of the content is going to facilitate their likelihood to buy, therefore, it makes sense for us to measure whether or not they're consuming that content and accelerate their consumption thereof. Sounded pretty smart, didn't it? I got a blazer on, therefore, I know what I'm talking about, okay? So here's what the first little chunk of the campaign looks like, all right? So this is the opt-in page. So this represents a form on the opt-in page. Now what I'm doing is I'm tagging them as having come from an ad, and specifically, I'm super OCD with stats, so I will hard code in Infusionsoft where they came from. I don't even rely on the cookies and stuff. I don't believe any analytics program. I'm crazy. So it's waiting, and then what happens is on the thank you page, which I think is right here, there's this little button, right? So after they opt in, they see this. They're not immediately seeing the video, okay? They're seeing this right here. If they click this button, I will know that they went to go watch the video. So they click that button, it'll start the video. I'm tracking it, I know. I'm doing this using a hidden form in Infusionsoft. It's super techy and weird. I tried to figure it out myself. It was a nightmare. It took like 16 hours. It was awful. They didn't come to my house and read the instructions to me. Such buttholes. So, but now what I know is, okay, so a lot of these guys are clicking. Great, all right, so I'm gonna do something with them. What if they don't click it? What if they don't go watch the video? About half of them, just for whatever reason, that extra click is just too difficult. What I'm doing now is I'm measuring their behavior, and, hang on, if they don't click the button, they immediately be out. All right, I'm measuring their behavior, and the ones who did click, so they opted in and they clicked to play the video, they're tagged as, all right, that dude clicked the video, and now they're in this little sequence where tomorrow, they're instantly gonna get video 2. Just like your regular product launch, right? Video 1, video 2, number 3. What if they didn't click the video? I shouldn't treat them the exact same. Oh, here's video 2, even though you didn't watch video number 1. It doesn't make sense, right? So in this case, I have what is called a click sequence. So in a properly done campaign, as complex as it sounds, you really only have about 2 types of sequences. You have a click or invite sequence, which is, hey, go click this thing, or hey, you're invited to this webinar. And then you have a countdown sequence, which is, hey, you have this much time to do a thing. That's really the main 2 sequences that we have, no matter what kind of campaign you're running, all right? So that's the first thing that I did. If you remember with Fernando yesterday, I was like, dude, we can't assume they're reading the PDF. We got to go hard after it. This is why, from these numbers. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm accelerating their movement based on their content consumption, all right? So if our Goodwill pre-launch, pre-sale content where we're helping them advance, which we should always be helping them in advance, if it is good, is it going to help us make the sale, yes or no? Is it therefore logical for us to ensure that they watch it, yes or no? If they do watch it, should we give them the next piece even faster? Of course, right? Because they're hot. Well, now you can do that thanks to actually really simple tools. Infusionsoft and a little tool called Plus This, whopping $70 a month or something, works great, right? So here's what I'm doing. If they complete video 2, so imagine I'm a fast track person. I opted in, I click the button to play video 1 like we would think everyone would do, but they don't. And then I finish video 1, okay? The minute I finish video number 1, I get a little email that says, hey, I see you finished video number 1. Here's video number 2 early, right then, right? So they can like complete the whole launch sequence in the first day. Same thing with video 2. If they complete video 2, I'm going to give them a bonus video. I'm going to acknowledge the fact that they finished video number 2 right there in an email any time of day because I'm tracking it. I know it's computer magic is what it is. It's voodoo. You have to kill about 15 goats, I think, and 5 chickens at the right time of day on the right day of the month to do it. But then once you do it, it happens. So it's computer voodoo, and I'm boom. Hey, I see you click video 2. Man, you're crushing it. I just made this bonus video only for people like you who are clicking video 2. Now that engaged person, what are they thinking? They're like, this is the coolest thing ever, right? And I'm hooking them up big time. I'm teaching them really, really cool stuff. So they get a bonus video. So the way that looks is really simple. I'm just using Wistia, which is a video player thingy, and then this app called Plus This. And Plus This and Wistia talk to each other through magic. And it'll say, Wistia will go, hey, this dude finished the video, and Plus This will be like, no way. And it'll say, hey, Infusionsoft, this dude finished the video, and then it applies this little tag here. And then as soon as that tag is applied, boom, they get the email instantly. And the email copy is classic. It's acknowledging, dude, I see you finished video number 2. I see you finished video number 1. The subject line is actually, I'm watching you. Open rate's real high. And another subject line is, I know what you did, right? It's not weird if they're engaged. If it's random, they'd be like, what are you talking about? But within context, it makes sense, right? Same thing with completes video number 2. If they complete the bonus video, they get an email for video number 3, right? So in a traditional product launch environment, it gets a little hinky there. In a traditional product launch environment, they're not going to be able to buy until like at least 4 days after opt-in, because you got to wet and watch video 1, video 2, video 3. That's crazy. Why would you do that? Why would you give them a chance to get disinterested or distracted? It's the internet. Every imaginable thing is competing for their attention right now. When they're hot, keep pouring the gas on them, right? So this campaign looks kind of crazy in here, so that's really how it looks, and it's kind of hard to see. But this is where I'm tracking whether or not they're watching the videos. If they finish video 1, or they finish whatever, I can't read it. They finish 1, they're putting that early access sequence, et cetera. Now the question then begs, what happens if they actually, I won't answer the question yet. I'll stay on the consumer's track, right? So let's say they're consuming, and they go and they click video 1, but maybe they don't finish it, right? Maybe they're like me, and they have never completed an actual internet marketing video in their life because they're like, dude, I gotta go. I've always got to go. I'm like, man, I got stuff to do. Just get to the point, right? Well, what we learned is if we give them an opportunity to buy early, some of them will buy early. If they buy early, what does it do for you? It gets your ad cost back faster, which gives you a faster ROI. So the way we do it is at the bottom of every page that's got a video, a pre-launch video, I've got this copy. Nothing difficult, nothing crazy. I'll read it. I can read it easier here. As you're probably aware, I'm at this line here, as you're probably aware, these videos are part of a promotion for a new class called Info Business Blueprint. Admission to the class opens in a few days and it will likely fill up. If you'd like to get early notifications so you can jump to the front of the line to get guaranteed access, get on the early bird list by clicking here. That's all. Super simple. But what happens is when they opt in, now they actually get access to buy, and I'm limiting that access. So I'll give you a very brief, mercifully brief history lesson. I know this is going to be shocking to you, but us internet guys, we haven't always known what we were doing. So in the early days of product launches and stuff, we'd be like, dude, I'm going to do a product launch. Great. Here's video 1. Great. we wouldn't even have video number 2 made yet. You know, it's just video 1. That's usually why the dang videos are spaced so far apart. People are like, I want to give affiliates a chance to mail. No, dude, you ain't made the video. That's all right, right? So we would never really know what to put in the second video, and we would really never know if there was demand for the thing, if we needed to tweak something. So this creation of the early bird usage was a means to gauge interest. Back in the day, there was never any intent of giving people immediate early bird access. It was just like, I'll give you an access an hour before the cart opens or whatever. And the reason we were doing it is because logically, if no one opted in for the early bird list, what do we got to change? We got to change what the videos are saying because we don't have any interest, right? Well, once you get a little bit better at this, you know I'm going to get the interest. It's going to be fine. Early bird list takes on a different meaning. So then people are like, yeah, I got an early bird list. I'll let them in an hour early on opening day because everybody wanted to make as much money in one day as possible because it was like a measuring of manliness contest, right? Very short-sighted and dumb. Very fun to make $1 million, $2 million in a day, but one of the worst things that can happen to you psychologically because then you have a $10,000 day the next day, you think you're a loser, right? I'd much rather have a lifetime of $10,000 days than $1 or $2 million in one day for sure, okay? So anyway, here's how it works. If they click on that little blue link that you just saw, they go to a little opt-in page, they get on the early bird list, nothing fancy. I built it in Optimized Press. You guys have the same templates available to you as well. I apply a tag that says, dude opted in for early bird list. I wait 5 minutes for reasons I have forgotten. I don't think there's any logic. And then I send them an email that says, hey, dude, guess what? You can get it right now. Yay. And then I wait another 2 hours. And I say, hey, dude, you can get it right now. Yay. And if they click that link, I will send them to a page, a version of the VSL with a countdown timer on it. It's only active for 2 hours. So it goes away in 2 hours, right? And that in and of itself has been phenomenal. So that acceleration of content consumption, the rewarding people for taking action by giving them more of what they already like and giving them the opportunity to buy early, according to Graphly, which is a little tool I use to measure analytics, our average sale occurs within less than 4 days. This funnel is like a 10-day funnel. You know, if they're slow, they're going to be in there forever. But because of that acceleration, our average sale is less than 4 days, which is great. Really, really good. All right. Next thing is compartmentalize. So being mentally weird and obsessive, remember I told you have to obsess. You've got to be OCD in this thing. I'm compartmentalizing all over the place. So for example, remember how I said the secret is boxes and arrows? This is what I mean, boxes and arrows. So everything Keith and Ralph showed you, I call before the line. That's to get them to opt in. Everything behind the line needs to be a just network of this stuff right here, because this is what makes you money. So if they opt in and they don't click video number 1, they're in a sequence. I call it the post opt-in sequence. It is a series of about 6 emails, 2 a day. Its sole purpose is to get them to click video 1. The minute they click video 1, they're put in that video 2 sequence. That's 2 emails a day for 3 days, same thing. If they don't click video number 1, because they opted in for this topic, I'm going to keep them in the campaign. I'm just going to move them slower. I got this idea from Jermaine Griggs, by the way. He's brilliant. Really solid, brilliant guy. So I put them in here, and I call it video 2 for non-engagement. And all I'm doing, same emails here, I'm just doing it a little slower, right? At a slower pace, because I want to give them a chance to get caught up. I'm not worried about these dudes. I know that they're not disinterested. They just have other stuff to do. I mean, have you opened every single email you got today? No. I got email from like my CPA. I'm like, man, I got to open that, and then I'll forget about it. And then, dude, I swear, I totally forgot to pay the IRS for 2013. It wasn't much, like $100,000 or something. But he writes me, he goes, dude, you have a $100,000 balance from 2013. Totally forgot. They never mentioned it to me. I paid it immediately, of course, but they never mentioned it. So this whole time, 4 years almost, owed the IRS $100,000. No word from them. Crazy. So does that mean that I'm not interested in paying taxes? I want to pay it because I'm scared of the government. All right? But looked at the email, I got to do that. Something happened, whatever, phone rang, instant messenger, like normal life. Didn't do it, forgot, slipped my mind. That's why we have this, right? So I'm compartmentalizing every little piece of behavior that can happen here, all right? So that has really, really helped. I'll answer in a sec. Okay, so more examples here. In this case, after they've gone through and clicked all the videos, if they haven't purchased yet, or if they're slow movers, they're in something called a cart open sequence. And let's see. Yeah. So in that cart open sequence, hang on. This is a series of emails in here, and this is a series of emails in here. This is why Infusionsoft is so cool. I tell my friends, I'm like, Infusionsoft is a really gorgeous, beautiful girlfriend who every 6 weeks or so will light your house on fire and have sex with one of your friends. You know? It's like so amazing, and then something will be like, I hate you, and then you're like, oh, but you're so great. You know, that's really kind of how I feel about them. But you know, as it sits right now, they're the best that we got, so they're who we use. And I probably do more with it than you're supposed to do anyway, you know, because I go nuts with this stuff. It's like, well, dude, how cool can we make it? So in this thing, this is an email signal. So everything over here is all those other boxes and arrows I showed you. I just can't put them all on the screen because you won't be able to see it well. So this is like video 1, video 2, video 3. If they click over here, they're in something called the cart open sequence. Remember, you basically have 2 sequences, a click sequence / invite, which is to get them to either click a link or opt in for something, and then a countdown sequence, which is to get them to take an action based on a deadline. In this case, I have gone deadline crazy up on her. So what you're seeing now is this is the click sequence, right? This is the sequence of emails that says, hey, Info Business Blueprint is officially open, all right? This is a 4-day email sequence. Now, what I'm using is, it appears, well, actually, it's highly technical and awful, actually. But I'm using Plus This and Infusionsoft. Plus This, again, super simple plugin, $70 or $90 a month or something. It's great, really good company. And what it's doing is Plus This is saying, okay, I want to calculate the date for 4 days from now. And then Plus This goes, okay, that date is this. And then it talks to Infusionsoft and goes, hey, 4 days from now is X. In every one of these emails, it actually merges that date field in the email. So it says, Info Business Blueprint is open, but this link is going to expire on insert date here. And the date is actually active, right? So it does that every time right here. If they never click this link, and they try to click the link on day 5, can't click the link no more. Nothing happens. They get it, this offer is expired. So when I do that, if I know that the only possible way, hang on, if I know the only possible way for them to buy is to actually click the VSL, doesn't it make sense for me to compartmentalize everybody in this segment and use every psychological trick I can to just advance them to the next stage in the game? Remember we were playing the reverse engineering game yesterday with Fernando? What must happen in order for that to happen? That's what we're playing here. I know they can't buy unless they see that VSL. So instead of going, hey, it's open, I'm like, hey, it's open, you got 4 days. The closer we get to the 4 days, it's going away. It really goes away. Guess which email has the highest open rate in the sequence? That one, because it's human nature. Everybody pays their taxes on April 14th at 10:59 p.m., right? Which is, I don't know why, it's just the way it is, okay? So now I'm double deadlining, all right? So what I figured out was if I put a deadline on their ability to click the link and then combine that with a deadline for their ability to buy after they click the link, I've compounded the power of a deadline. So imagine this. This is my store, all right? And this is the doorway to the store. And I'm like, okay, universe, you can't walk in this door after Monday morning. So if you come up here on Monday morning, this door's not closed, all right? So I got somebody who comes in on Saturday, and he walks in. Is every person who comes in on Saturday going to buy? Of course not. So what I did was I built another one of these sequence for everyone who clicks the VSL but doesn't immediately buy. So now it is, okay, you're in the store, great. The sale expires on Thursday. So if they leave the store, metaphorically speaking, they're going to get an email that says, hey, man, you're not going to be able to buy it at all on Thursday. If they still don't buy it, hey, man, you're not going to be able to buy it at all. The same technology I'm using to insert the dates and all of that stuff is also done in this sequence. So it's all real. It's not your typical internet marketing short-sighted crap where you're trying to game the system. They don't buy it, they're out. They'd have to opt in and go through the entire thing again, right? Which is really good. So guess what day has the highest sales? That one right there. Who knew? All of us, right? So I have double compounded the use of the deadlines in this case, and it's working very, very well. So the second tactic is hardcore obnoxious follow-up using behavioral dynamic response, okay? So for example, will everyone who sees the VSL and goes to complete the order form actually order? Weirdly, no. So whenever you can, as in you always can, use a two-step order form. That means step one, enter your name and email address and phone number. They hit submit. Now they're on the page where they fill out the credit card data. Why? Well, because they won't all fill out the credit card data. And you have the ability to follow up with the ones who didn't fill out the credit card data. In this case, I'm applying the tag to them that just says, hey, this dude opted in for the order form. He hadn't bought yet. I'm waiting 30 minutes just to, give him plenty of time to type slowly or whatever. If he never completes the order form, I send him an email that says, hey, I see you didn't complete the order form. Maybe it was broken. Here it is again. You never know. If he still doesn't complete it, I'm going to wait an hour. In this case, this says, hey, I see you didn't complete the order form. If you need some help, just send Ashley a text to 1-800-297-1234, which happens to be the number for the Time Life Wild West book collection. That's how powerful advertising is. I saw that ad when I was 7. The man who was so mean, he once shot a man just for snoring. Called Time Life Books, 1-800-297-1234. Crazy how advertising can shape society. Anyway, little number in here for them to text Ashley. They text it. Computer voodoo magic happens. She instigates a conversation, answers questions, because usually they haven't watched the VSL, filled out step one, and not bought because they don't want it. Like, that's illogical, right? I mean, sometimes in our community, you might have someone going, I'm going to fill it out just to see what happens. But that's like, 1 out of every 500 people or something. So in most situations, they want it. They just have some questions. They need to talk to somebody, right? Well, the text Ashley thing, for reasons I am completely unaware of, works unbelievably well. Giving someone the ability to text a person instead of pick up the phone and call, I guess because we're just getting used to that or something. I think like an unsolicited phone call, like even if we're like really close, if I just like pick up the phone and call John Reese out of the blue, it is now the equivalent of the pop-in, where you show up at someone's house without calling. Like, is everything okay? Well, you called. Are you all have you died? It's just weird, right? So I'm not going to go against that. I mean, if that's the way the river's flowing, I don't want to dam up the river. It's too hard. I want to get a boat and let the boat carry me where the river's going. All right? So if they still haven't emailed or texted it to Ashley or whatever, I'll tell them again. I'll wait 2 hours. I'll be, hey, man, text Ashley. She's real nice, right? So that is working really, really well. Now, the thing number 2 is now lead compounding, where every single person who goes into that funnel buy. Now, okay. So lead compounding is the alpha and the omega. So when you combine this with paid advertising to get a profit, this is what is enabling me to really get the results that I'm getting. It's not awesome copywriting, okay at it, but it is the logic. It's the architecture of understanding what needs to happen in order to get the sale and engineering things to ensure that process occurs. All right, so here's how this is working. As you know, this is great, wonderful slide. The overwhelming majority of people will not progress through a funnel how you want them to. I didn't want to overtype, so I'm trying to conserve characters, so to make that tweetable. So I think that's tweetable now. All right. So you got to identify where they fall out. You know this, and then build a contingency plan for those who fall out. So I'll give you a couple of examples. I'm going to diagram these campaigns for you after I'm done with this presentation. I'll show you how it all works on the whiteboard, if that's okay. Would you like that? It's a little heady, but okay, good. All right, so this is an example of a 4-day cash machine 2.0 campaign. All right, and I'll kind of draw that out for you and explain the logic to it in a minute. But basically, it's like, hey, go watch a video. If they'd never watched the video, then they're not interested in that topic, they're out. I put them in another campaign. Wait till I show you this thing, right? If they do click the video, I know they're not going to buy. Most of them aren't immediately going to buy, so I put them in a countdown sequence. Hey, this offer's going away in 4 days. typical stuff, right? But in this case, it's actually real. It puts the date in there. There's a real countdown on the page. It actually goes away, so you're not scammy. Will all of them buy? Nope. So they go here, right? So these are 2 failure points within a campaign. I've identified it, and I have something that will occur, and this is really freaking awesome, if they don't go in. This one right here is the beginning of an automated webinar sequence. And this is just me inviting them to register for a webinar. For some reason, I have Click's video here instead of register, but that should say register. That's what happens when Frank builds the campaigns, all right? So, Click sequence. If they don't register, they're out, and they're put into another campaign. If they do register, of course, they're in the rest of the automated webinar campaign, right? That looks a little bit like this. So this is what happens after they register. And I always like to indoctrinate people by sending them a value video and stuff before the webinar happens. It increases attendance, increases their likelihood to be receptive to my messaging on the webinar because I've helped them in advance of helping them, right? It's like super duper helpful, okay? So if I'm measuring, hey, did they attend? No. If they don't show, okay, I'll tag them here. I'll put them in a little no-show sequence. That's just re-inviting them. And then if they re-registered, cool, I'll stop emailing them 9 million times and I'll put them here. If they double no-show, or if they don't re-register, they're out of the campaign. They're clearly not that interested. What's the point in hammering them about something they haven't behaviorally responded to? If they come through again and still don't show up, they exit here. They double no-showed. No problem. I have a backup plan. So the money, everyone thinks the money's in the sales letter. Show me the sales letter, man. I got to see that sales letter. What are you saying in your sales video? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how good that thing is. Not all of them are going to convert. Now, yeah, you can get 51% conversion from a highly targeted, super warmed up list who really, really likes you and trusts you. Like Dan Kennedy would get 100% conversion from me. You know, he would be like, hey, I have a thing, buy it. Okay. That's what he could probably insult me. Current idiot, click here, buy. Okay. You know, because I mean, every dollar I put into my Dan Kennedy knowledge is returned God knows how much, right? So I don't care. But in most situations, we're not going to have that level of conversion. So that's why we do this. So I know most of them aren't going to buy and do what I want them to do. That's okay. Here is this same sequence. So now right here is before the webinar happens, right? So what we're looking at here is did they show up, right? So this sequence, all that stuff I just showed you is over here now. Does that make sense? So it's just, I can't fit it all on the screen where you can read it. That's why it looks like this. So now, if they showed up, okay, they're in the countdown sequence to go click the objection handling videos and other stuff. If they still don't buy, then they're out. If they see the countdown sequence and still don't buy, they're out. So no matter what, they're either really highly targeted and I'm sending them all kinds of material based on their level of interest, or I'm putting them into another campaign. The question is, what do you do with them when they get kicked out of the campaign? Kicked out isn't I don't mean it like you're out. I mean like, they kick out as if you're surfing and kicking out of a wave or something. So what do you do with them, right? Well, this Brett Martineau and I figured this out one day after obsessively trying to build the coolest thing ever. And what you do with them is you put them into campaigns they haven't been through yet, but you use this cool little slice of heaven called the decision machine. So this is the greatest thing. I love the name. And then I've shortened it to the D machine, which sounds just kind of pervy. So I'm like, Brett, are you working hard on the D machine? And Brett's like this super straight-laced Mormon guy. He's like, man, yes. I'm like, yeah, you work on that D machine. All right, so dang it, I can't read this well. Let's see if I've got it a little better. No. Okay, so I'll just tell you what these are, all right? So this is where they start, right? So every time where it said exit, in those little boxes, a little tag would be applied that just says start decision machine. So the minute that tag's applied, the person is in this little system right here, right? So they're here, and basically what it's doing is it's saying, this is a little decision diamond. It's saying, has this person ever been invited to the Ultimate Webinar Blueprint webinar? If yes, he has been invited, he passes to the next decision diamond here. If he's never been invited, he gets over here and start the Ultimate Webinar Blueprint invite sequence campaign is started. So he goes right down in there, hey, would you like to attend this webinar about how to sell on webinars? That's all, super friendly, right? If he has been on there, and so he's here, this little decision diamond says, hey, Has he ever been through the Info Business Blueprint automated launch sequence? If the answer is yes, he's not eligible for that. If the answer is no, he hasn't, he goes right into that automated launch that I just walked you through, right? This decision right here is, hey, has this guy ever been through the mass conversion automated launch sequence? Dude, I built that in 2014. If the answer is yes, he's not eligible. If he ain't never been in there, he's popped up in there. Same thing. Has he ever been in the mass conversion automated webinar invite sequence? If yes, he's not eligible. If no, he's popped in it. Same thing with here. This is a newer Ultimate Webinar Blueprint one. Has he ever been to the new Ultimate Webinar Blueprint webinar? It's two different webinars now. If yes, not eligible. If no, here. And this is for Survey Siphon, which is it's an inexpensive product. And if he's finally been through everything, he ends up here. So what's happening is the guy who opts in on whatever that date range was, let's say April 1st, dude, I've got him covered. So let's see here. Even if he doesn't participate in this is 3 days, 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. Yeah, so every one of these is about 3 days. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 18 days of invites into different campaigns. God forbid, if he actually registers for one of these things, he's in the actual webinar campaign now. So he's not going to be passed through here until he actually completes that webinar campaign. So he's like, yeah, I'll register. Then boom, he's in the other one. Did he show up? Did he not show up? He's getting the indoctrination sequences and all that. He's not getting any of this stuff until he kicks out and he's cycled through the machine again. Right? So conceivably, this guy's going through 1, 2 automated launches. Okay? He's going through 1, 2, 3 automated webinars, and he's going through a 4-day cash machine 2.0. So boom, I'm just compressing the time in which, so most marketers, they don't think this through, right? They're like, well, this month I'll run a promotion for XYZ. This month I'll do this. That ain't gonna get you, that will make you a little bit of money, but that's not gonna allow you to put $1 in and get $2 out in the same 30 days. Let me show you the net effect of this, all right? So I'll do it month by month, all the way up until last month. So this is, actually it's even better. So how many of y'all were on the Info Business Blueprint live webinars? So thank you for attending, by the way, and thank you for buying that product. I'm really proud of it. So I have never in my life missed a webinar except for on January 29th. I had the flu. And I'm like, man, I can't do it, because it was live. I just kind of felt like doing live webinars. They're fun. They actually convert better than automated, so there's pros and cons. We'll talk about it in a minute. So I'm like, man, I can't do it. Now, before every one of those live webinars, I would take the screenshot of the month's revenue before the live webinar. So I could show it. I'd be like, hey, man, here's where we're at for the month using the stuff I've been telling you about. So on January 28th, the day before the webinar, didn't have the flu. Just woke up with the flu. I took my little screenshot. So I got January 1st through January 28th, right? So the ad spend for that date range is, I'm on the wrong one. All right, so this is this January. Yeah, ad spend for that date range, 46,666.23, is that what that says? Yeah, okay. Dang, eyes are bad, I'll tell you what, man. I'm not getting those reading glasses, though. I'm too cool for it. Sorry. Y'all have to drive now, Who's driving? Not me, too cool to wear the glasses. All right. So have a look at this. This is my Infusionsoft lead source report. So it tells me the sales from every lead source. So when you advertise on Facebook and stuff, never trust their tracking. Their tracking's always wrong. Infusionsoft is always wrong too, but it's less wrong than Facebook's. So I've tracked, like, what analytics package do you use? Like Legal Pad. Pencil. I go at every order, and I'm like, what's this guy's lead source? And if I don't see the lead source, I'll start Googling him for other email addresses he might have used, so I can see if he might be in my system under another email address, which he usually is. Where's Dana, by the way? You in here? Where did you come from? You have no lead source assigned to you. It's driving me crazy. Do you remember? Y'all been on my list forever. Pardon? Dang it. I don't know where to assign the revenue to. It's driving me nuts. But I'm glad you came, nonetheless. But that's how you have to obsess. Like, you have to obsess. You can't fly blind. You don't want to get behind, like, Captain, where are we going? I don't know, man. Where's the runway? I don't know. That's not a good plane to be on, right? So I'm OCD about it. I'm not sorry. That's what gets money. All right, so here for that same date range, just the same morning before the webinar that I got sick, here's the revenue from January 1st through January 28th. It's at 77.5, I think. Yeah. Dang it, can't see for nothing. All right? So that's really, I mean, that's okay because I spent 40-something, and within already that 28-day period, I'm up to 70-something, so I'm at a whatever $30,000 profit. Now have a look at this. I did another webinar on the 12th of February. So my webinars are always at 10 in the morning just because that's when I want to do them. I have no idea whether that's a good time or not. So at 9:31 a.m., that's why this is so tight on the time, I took another screenshot. Now on that day, it's a little red square up here. No, I don't want to spoil the surprise. Get out of there, get out of there. Hang on. On that day, so this is what, 28 through 12, this is 14 or 15 days later, all right? The revenue was at $107,334. I didn't spend any extra money on the ads. So this revenue is only from people who came from the ad spend between the dates of January 1st and January 28th. We're past January 28th now. We're on February 12th. They're still producing revenue, right? So now I'm doubled. I'm at 200% return, which is great. Have a look at this. On March 30th, this is right before I did it for our war room meeting, the revenue was $145,954 from the same traffic that I bought between January 1st and January 28th. Why? Lead compounding via behavioral dynamic response. It is, in my opinion, the holy grail. It is also awful and very hard and the cause of many, many damns to be exclaimed, but worth it, right? Because there's so many little things you can mess up doing this, and I mess them up all the time. Like I have broken the auto launch. I had to tell the boys, I was like, turn the dang campaign off. I got in there, I was messing around. Like I'll open 15 campaigns at once and like start tweaking, and then forget what I was doing and tweak one the way I was supposed to tweak the other one, and then it breaks, and I'm like, what was I doing? Not a good delegator. See, remember when I was saying yesterday, to get to the next level, you have to upgrade your thinking and your skills? I got to learn how to delegate. I'm terrible at it, right? So that's why I do that kind of stuff. So it is the source of many damns, but I spent $44, and now I'm up $100,000 because of using this type of super groovy stuff. It's worth the dammits. It is the best dammit you will ever say, right? Worth the dammits. So here's how I'm going to make this campaign even cooler, right? First is I'll add open and click segmentation. So you can track who is opening to a degree, and then I'll instead of saying here's an email and if they click, stop, I'll say here's an email, and if they open it but still don't click, put them in this little segment. Hey, I see you opened the email about the video, but it doesn't look like you've watched it yet, right? What's that gonna do? Get more people to watch the video. Well, if we reverse engineer and say, what must happen before I get the money? I know if they watch the video, I'll get more money. So, makes sense. Actually, if you figure out, if you really micro-analyze it, what must happen before they click? They must read the email. What must happen before they read the email? They must open the email. So if they open the email and don't click, that's a gap there. That's something for us to strengthen, right? So a machine is some part of all of its gears. If we make every single gear just 5% better, the machine is exponentially more powerful. So that's the point I'm trying to make, okay? I'll add VSL consumption and trigger hardcore follow-up. So we've just started doing that. So now if someone completes a video sales letter but doesn't buy, they'll get the Text Ashley stuff even if they don't fill out the order form. I know what you did. Hey, Bob, one of the things that's working really, really well in marketing right now is to send customized messages to people based on whether or not they watched a video sales letter. Looks like you just finished the video sales letter for Information Blueprint. Yay! But it looks like you didn't enroll. Boo. Probably because you have some questions or need some help. That's why you should text Ashley at this number right here. She's one of our full-time concierges. Blah, 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 blah. Works like a champ. There she is, lovely. What were our sales totals from last month from Ashley's texting and talking to folks? 235 grand. 235. Yeah. Thank you very much for that, by the way. So fueled by us saying, well, guys, seems like they like to talk to Ashley and buy stuff. They just have someone real friendly to answer their questions. Maybe we should build a machine that facilitates their talking to Ashley. Okay? So next thing is I'm used to War Room where they're completely psychotic. Deep funnel Facebook nastiness doesn't actually mean deep funnel Facebook nastiness. So if you look at that campaign, where they're falling out are particular bottlenecks in that campaign are the spots. Let me see, I'll show you. Or, hey, don't make fun of my noise. There are places like this. We'll have a lot of people here. We'll have like 2,500 people in this sequence or something, but we'll only have 250 people here. Now, on the surface, that's like, man, nobody's clicking your link. Dude, this 10% click-through rate is awesome, but it could be better. So you can automate your Facebook ads. I can actually have a little thing in here that says, okay, everyone who's in here needs to be in a Facebook custom audience called Info Business Blueprint Countdown Funnel, and it'll automatically put them in there. Facebook will automatically advertise a little picture of me going, dude, you hadn't gone and looked at Info Business Blueprints open. What's wrong with you? Probably worked pretty good if I was like, what's wrong with you? You ain't even clicked it, man. Come on, I made that video. Same thing as here, right? If they're in here, they should be seeing a Facebook ad that goes, hey, Info Business Blueprint is closing, click here, right? If they have clicked video 1, but haven't clicked video 2 yet, they need to be seeing Facebook ads that say video 2 is available, right? I haven't done that yet. That can only make it more powerful, right? So that's how we're going to +1 that. All right.